Hey Gearheads, and welcome to Garage Talk. I'm Corey.
I'm Holly.
Back there's Tucker.
Yep, that's me.
And it's officially summer, y'all. And we are in a summer road trip rig. We are in the 2024 Toyota Sequoia TRD Pro here in the seats. The biggest physical three-row vehicle you can get from Toyota. But is it the best? And how does it fit our family of three? Stay tuned to find out. All right, Holly, this is the second time we've had a Sequoia, the second time we've had these big tow mirrors, but this time, unlike last time with the luxury limited on-road trim, this one is built, ready to do some off-road work, which I explore in my solo video. But my question to you, you've had it longer than I have. I was out of town when it showed up.
Yeah.
Why don't we start outside, inside, do the normal spiel? What are your thoughts on the look?
Well, I do like that it is a big
presence.
But it also has a lot of interesting details to it as well, like the black accents and the big tires. And of course, I don't love the orange. But I would choose a different color.
This is the exclusive color for TRD Pros for 2024. I had to call that out. It's called Terra Earth, and it's very earthy. Matches the earth around here very well.
Yes. So looking at it, if you're just looking at it from the front, it does look like a fun truck from the front. But it is a three-row SUV, no joke.
Yep. I think it wears the Tundra styling better than the Tundra, for my 2 cents. But yes.
I was going to say that it reminds me of a Tundra, but I didn't want to sound stupid. So.
Yes. Very familial styling. But then the further back we get, the more unique it is to its own.
And if you don't look behind you, it even it drives like a truck.
Up here, it is essentially a Tundra. There are some minor tweaks that they made versus the Tundra, but essentially it's a Tundra up here. I
even had a hard time parking in the same parking lot as when we had the Tundra.
Okay. Well, while we're stopped, it is a good time to say we have cameras on cameras in this one. Toyota does a great job of implementing the 14-inch, very large screen up here with all the cameras.
But I will say one thing I don't like, but I don't know if this is just a setting that we have or not.
Okay.
Is that when you're stopped at a stoplight,
yes, it is a setting.
Turns on it turns on the camera. I do not like that because, which I guess it's a setting you can turn it off. But if you have that, when I'm stopped at the light is when I'm changing my channel. Yeah.
Which
you can exit off of it.
Yeah, there's an X up here.
You can exit off of it, but it's one more step at a very short red light that I'm like, ah.
So there is an auto mode when you're at low speeds. It automatically comes on for parking convenience. But that is just a toggle on the screen itself that you can turn that off. It'll also, there is an automatic trigger when the parking sensors notice that you're near something, it'll turn it on. So I did a quick 180 in our driveway, and our trash can triggered the parking sensors, which turned on the camera, which I did like. So
yeah, that is nice.
All right, we talked outside. We don't like the color, but we do like the rough and tumble style of this one. This being the TRD Pro, does get some unique things, making it the TRD Pro version. You mentioned the tires being one of them. Before we move inside, I do have to note we have the optional roof rack up above us that you may be able to see through the massive optional panoramic sunroof here on this one. We'll talk about that a little bit later when we actually get out on the highway. But moving inside, we've already touched on some things. A massive 14-inch screen, the fact that it is essentially a Tundra up here, which is either a good thing or a bad thing. If you love the Tundra, you're going to like the Sequoia. Full digital gauge cluster.
Full digital gauge cluster, womp womp. I do like the buttons, the actual buttons.
Lots of toggles, but yes, while we're here,
a Bronco,
see, there's the automatic toggle for when you're at low speeds, but all kinds of different parking angles you can see, or camera angles. But yes, different toggle switches, yes, kind of like a Bronco. Even the HVAC's got some toggles. We've got tri-zone heated and ventilated front seats, which, what's my favorite part?
It stays on.
Yep, they know where you had them left. And while we're talking about
it's really nice.
Yeah. While we're talking about the seats, TRD specific seats, there's like a digital camo pattern hidden in the perforation that you kind of have to look for. Yeah. But I had to ask, real leather, fake leather?
Real?
No.
Oh, I knew if you were asking me, it probably wasn't.
SofTex is what Toyota calls it, but synthetic leather.
Well, it is soft.
Yes.
It is soft.
But very large center console here. We've got the keys here. We've got the sliding tray. We've got the opening tray. We've got all the space down here.
Yeah,
that
lots
you can
of
get
different
to
ways
here.
that you can access it, which I like.
Yes. Cup holders. But then the storage kind of gets hit or miss. Like we've got multiple tiers here in the door, but only one glove box. Competitors now are offering dual glove boxes. I don't know. It just, for a big vehicle, I feel like it's all here and nowhere else. What are your thoughts on interior storage up here? You've lived with it a little.
Yeah, I have. I mean, I haven't had any issues.
Okay.
My whole purse fits in this. I like that. This, which you probably wouldn't love, holds my wallet like perfect. My little
card wallet.
Yeah, my little travel. But you notice it's not in there. You know why?
Why?
I don't forget it in the car when they take it.
Yes, unfortunately, they do take these back. And then moving back to Tucker, I do a little bit of a back 2-row walkthrough as I install his child safety seat. Second row and third row of the Sequoia. You would think, this being the biggest 3-row SUV that Toyota offers, that it would be the roomiest. And well, here in the second row, I could say, yeah, it really is. Sitting behind myself, plenty of room back here. I've got air vents with tri-zone air controls back here. I've got USB-C, USB-A, and a household style plug. I've got a lot of amenities back here. I've got air vents up here to go with the air vents back here. Lots of stuff. And then I even have manual sunshades here in the door. I've got a big panoramic roof that I could view out of. It is very nice back here, but that's not where the story ends. As I get out here, before I bring Tucker's car seat in, I do want to talk about the way in which you get into the third row. Can't do that with Tucker's child seat in place. We do have, because we are in the TRD Pro, all-weather floor mats everywhere. And then I've got nice steps to get in the third row back here. Once in the third row, I too have air vents back in the ceiling here. I've got a power recline third row seat, which I really like. A couple cup holders here. Armrest here that is hollow, makes a lot of noise. A hidden USB-C port right in here with a little bit of storage. I get sunshades, as small as they may be, on the back windows back here, but you can see there's already some sort of shading right there, so it does a good job. I've got a coat hook right here. We have a seating for 3 across, a USB-C port right there because no hidden storage right down there. But it is getting very warm back here. I'm gonna go ahead and scoot over and show you the legroom. You know, it's okay. You know, my knees are up, but I'm not touching the back of the seat right now, so that's nothing really too bad. Tucker's child safety seat top tether is right there. Go ahead and note that. We've got lower latch points down here. Let's go ahead and bring it in. It is his Graco Extend-A-Fit child safety seat. This is the same one he used when he was rear facing. And wouldn't you know it, there's just enough room, even without moving the front seat forward. So that is yet another bode for the big Toyota 3-row SUV. But let's go ahead and drop this top tether underneath the headrest, if it will allow me to lift it. There we go. Come on, come on. Go through, go through. There we go, finally. Get that into place. And then, because those are so well exposed, it's fairly easy to latch them into place. Very easy to see. And then we can snug it down from over here. We do have running boards along the side, so even me at 5'10", this is a big vehicle, so those running boards do come in handy. snug that down. Now, unfortunately, because of the tilt-tumble nature of these, they don't slide forward and back. So I am going 100% blind back here, putting the top tether on. Cannot see what I'm doing. The other option would be to climb around the seat. I don't want to do that, especially as often as this happens in and out and in and out. Or, well, that's really the only option. Climb around back there. Though, get this pretty snug here from the side. I would prefer to have sliding seats back here. And then we've got a nice firm seat back so it doesn't look like I'm damaging the SofTex seats. So gets in very nicely, very snugly. Let's check the back cargo situation and then I get back in the air conditioning. Toyota gives you a lot of options. This being the newest Sequoia, does not come with a roll down rear window, but just push that button right there and you can drop items back here behind the seats very quickly. You don't have to wait for the power operated liftgate to open. There are multiple ways you can do it from the key fob. There is a button underneath the Toyota logo above the license plate, or they give you this little logo right there telling you exactly where to kick very swiftly. You get a few beeps and up she goes. This is where we really lose out to the sales leader, the Tahoe, the Suburban, because officially it's something like a paltry 11.5 cubic feet of space back here, which the Tahoe has like 25 behind its third row of seats. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that this is a hybrid only version of this platform, and the battery's got to go somewhere. It goes underneath the third seats. The third row seats do give you a lot of options. There are a lot of options back here. I do a whole video on the cargo storage back here. That is when we had that silver limited, but suffice it to say, you have options. You can see there are multiple different levels. You can put this adjustable shelf. So that works very well for opening the glass and just setting stuff on the glass. This has something like a 200-pound weight rating on it. It does say somewhere on here 220-pound weight rating. So yeah, you can load it up with stuff and then you can put stuff underneath it. We did just do a grocery shop. $150 worth of groceries fits behind here very nicely with this two-tiered system. But again, why? It is a useful solution to a problem, because in SUVs, they quote you big numbers, bigger than any trunk, but it really is mostly vertical space. So this does answer a problem that is kind of created. This is one of 3 different places that you can power recline the seats up here. The other 2 are right here on the sides right there, and then on the front of this armrest. If you're standing by the back doors, you can do that as well. One last positioning of this tray, I'm going to put it down here. So it's really easier not one-handed, because then you can flip these over and now you have a flat load surface, which is very nice. It gives you tons of space now, and then you can still store stuff underneath here. These also move around, so if you want to divide that up differently, again, I do a whole video. We have some power back here, which is nice. And then, like I said, lots of room back here for storing lots of stuff. The last cool feature, I'm going to go ahead and flip these back and put this up out of the way so you can truly see these seats slide forward and backward. But again, this is where the hybrid battery is. And so, yeah, you can get more space that way, bring it back, more space that way. And then when you want to, the button is right there, but I will go ahead and show you. I'm 5'10", opens nice and wide. It does not fit in our garage. It's a big honking SUV that, I'm sorry, it just doesn't fit. The tow mirrors on this one, just too wide. And yes, they do fold, but for the week that we have these, that's a no-go for us. I talked about rear way back storage a little bit in this one. I do a whole video in the silver limited that we had. So if you really want to know the storage shortcomings of this vehicle, again, I have a whole video just on the rear cargo area alone. Go check that out. But yeah, big vehicle in presence, not their best big 3-row vehicle on the inside. I feel like the Grand Highlander is a better big 3-row vehicle. The Sienna is a better big 3-row vehicle. What say you?
Well, definitely the Sienna,
yeah.
for sure.
All right.
Just the use of space.
Yep. All right, as we turn on to the historic brick streets of downtown Tyler, Texas, we can talk about how this thing rides. It is tuned for off-road. Tucker, how's your wobbly head back there?
A little wobbly.
A little wobbly. Holly, how's yours?
A little wobbly.
And then we get to note there's a rattle somewhere in this one.
Mm-hmm.
That was the biggest bump we hit on this road, but have not determined where that rattle comes from. Press vehicles do live a rough life, but like I have looked, I cannot find where that rattle is coming from, and it is driving me insane.
Yeah.
That I cannot find where it's coming from. Yes, sir.
I actually know where the rattling is coming.
You do? Where?
Yeah. Last time we were going to the zoo, I snuck a walk inside my seat.
Oh, yeah? Interesting.
Okay.
The truth comes out.
Well, there you go. There you have it.
But I do feel it's the plastic panels back in the third row area somewhere. Something is not aligned and snapped in properly. But it's
Just
my
something
2
to be
cents.
aware
Yes, my 2 cents. If you test drive one, take it out on bumpy road. Just see. Just see.
of. Jesse.
While we're talking about driving dynamics, visibility. Thoughts on visibility?
I hate the tow mirrors.
Why do they keep sending us vehicles with tow mirrors? We don't tow
We don't tow.
regularly.
I guess these are options.
Yes.
But
They're so big and
they're
so improperly placed for normal driving.
yes, it creates a very big blind spot
Yes.
in a very critical spot. I need to know there's a car here.
Yes. And an entire vehicle can't hide behind those. They are so big and massive.
Yeah. And the back mirror is a wee bit smaller than I would expect it to be for such a big
Back window,
back window.
Yeah.
What did I call it?
mirror.
The back window
Speaking of which,
is smaller than I would expect this big of an SUV to have, but you have the camera,
which you
thing,
don't like.
which
so,
I don't like.
There you go.
So I get the little window. I mean, I'm sure if I had one of those cameras, but it kind of freaks me out. It feels like it's not real life back there. So
I will say the resolution on this is the best that I think I've ever
Yeah,
seen.
that kind of feels like cartoon.
yeah, it kind of feels like cartoons.
It feels like cartoon.
Yeah, we prefer the real mirror, right, Tucker?
Why?
Yeah.
How has it been piloting this thing around? You've already alluded to parking it, but how does power delivery feel? The steering feel? Does it feel as large as it really is? Things like that.
Yes, it feels like you're driving a boat, but the steering is very soft
Light.
and light and smooth. So I don't feel like I'm getting a workout turning it, which isn't the same for all 3-row SUVs. So there's that, but it does feel like yes.
Yeah, the off-road suspension is a little floaty in this.
Uh-huh.
And this is, I believe, the last vehicle in the segment with a solid rear axle. Most have gone to independent rear suspension, which again kind of gives you that lumber and dirt feel going down the road.
Yeah, it definitely feels like that. It's a beast to park.
Yeah, but you do get the
I know
cameras.
if I drove it around more, I would get better at parking it. I mean, I did drive a 9-row safari truck at Animal Kingdom, so I know how to drive a big vehicle.
Yep.
But I'm just not used to it, and so parking it has been like
You never had to park the 9-row.
a poly.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Not in like
Yes, I
a
did.
shopping
Not a.
center.
No, I mean
Yeah.
to be fair, they have the parking lot is fit for those trucks, but it still is like
Okay.
a parking lot for the trucks. So yes, I did, but I know it was one of those that I'm like, I'm sorry, this is my car. I don't know how to drive it. I don't know how to park it, but I did park it backwards.
Yes, you did, and you did a very
in
good
between
job.
two cars.
You did a very good job on that one.
Thank you.
How is power delivery? Does it feel big and heavy when you press the throttle?
No, it doesn't. I
Yeah.
don't think so. I don't think it doesn't take you like a lot to get up and go. A little bit. I mean, it's a big road,
Yes.
big 3-row SUV. So a little bit more than an EV
Yeah.
sedan. But But as far as like struggling to get it up to speed, I don't think that's an issue at all.
What are your thoughts on the auditory experience of the engine? Have you noticed?
It fake?
It's fake.
Okay, well, the other one was fake too, so I don't know. I mean,
I know you really liked it in the Tundra. That's something that you called out. You're like, oh, it makes me feel like I'm good.
Then you told me it was fake. I didn't know it was fake.
Yeah.
Now you're telling everybody it's fake. You're ruining the magic.
They do pipe in some engine noise through the JBL sound system in this one. So.
Well, to me, it is just, it goes along with how I feel about the whole car.
Yeah.
Which is, it feels like it wants to be off-road, or it acts like it wants to be off-road, but it's just not really off-road.
Yeah, so again, I alluded to my solo review. I drove an hour to take this off-roading on our normal proving grounds, and I left very disappointed.
Yeah.
Go check out that video. You'll see exactly what I mean. Holly's sentiments ring true through and through on this one. It fell so short for me.
I know, it's just disappointing because I'm like, okay, well, I can deal with a big honking vehicle that's a little do-do-do and hard to park, and, you know, so some of the off-roading things, like, you know, you got the hard plastic and stuff like that.
Although this is...
If it's an off-roading car.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's not all the way.
It's more of a poser mobile, which is a little sad.
A little sad.
Okay, we talked about the engine. It is a 3.5 liter twin turbo V6 hybrid. Hybrid only, which leads to some of the storage problems back in the back. So you would imagine fuel economy, spectacular, right? It's a hybrid. Toyota is like the leader in hybrids, the Prius, etc. 19 city, 22 highway, 20 combined from the EPA. Holly, what you seeing over there, the big green number to your left?
13.5. That's terrible.
That's pathetic. I will say that is in 133.8 miles. Some of that is, yes, including my off-roading, but we've done normal things, groceries. We've lived with this, and 13.5, yikes. So not great at off-road, not being great at being a hybrid because it's really tuned more for power. Doesn't feel heavy when you're trying to get up to speed, but I don't know. I feel like you're making a lot of trade-offs on this vehicle.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, again, you can get over some of these things and like the way it feels driving it. I mean, it's fun to drive it, right, on the highway and stuff like that. It's fun to drive it, but like if you're getting 13.5 miles per gallon, and it really doesn't. It feels like it should be an off-road car, but it's not really an off-road car. Like, is it worth it? I don't know.
And then I mentioned earlier, we're getting up to speed. Don't know that we'll get up to enough speed while we're still videoing. That roof rack makes a lot of wind noise up there, so that is unfortunate. If you're not putting stuff up there, which I think you kind of have to with the storage situation in this one, don't opt for it, but that's my 2 cents.
This is who I think this car is for.
Do tell.
Or SUV.
Do tell.
I think this SUV is for. I think it is for the man who wants a off-road car, an off-road vehicle, not necessarily an SUV, a fun recreational off-road vehicle. But he's married, and she wants a three-row family hauler.
This is the compromise vehicle?
This is the compromise vehicle.
You're making a lot of compromises with this one, a lot. I've even reached out to my friends who have had this particular one. I've reached out to friends who specialize in trucks and SUVs. And I'm like, look, am I off base in just thinking that this entire vehicle is a compromise? And they're like, no, it is. It really is.
Do you want to know the female mom's opinion?
Yes.
Hardcore.
Yes.
You know I like a lot of, I love a Bronco. I like the Tundra.
Yeah.
I like a lot of different cars. I like Sienna. I like a lot of different cars. I wouldn't get this because it's not either one. It's not one or the other. Like, I would get a Bronco, even as a family vehicle, with our current situation, our kids.
Because it makes no compromises. It is off-road.
It is an off-road. I would get it, making some comfort sacrifices, because it is an off-road car, but it's a fun car.
You'd get the Sienna because
but I would get a Sienna as just a family hauler, because it is just a family hauler. My perfect two-car garage is a Sienna and a Bronco.
That's not my perfect two-car, but we're running out of time on this one.
One thing.
Okay.
Also, we were talking about one of our friends that has 2 babies. They were looking at this, and I was like, absolutely not. Like, no way. Like, maybe teenagers or like little kids or kids, not little kids. But definitely, I would not have this with babies.
Yeah. We talked them into a Grand Highlander. Now that is what they are shopping for, but... So Toyota, you're welcome on that front. Window sticker's a little null and void because you and I both are like meh on this one. But what do you think this one's sticker's for?
78.
No.
Higher?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You're not.
No.
It was a hard sell for you at 78, huh? So
82.
this one does start at, so pat yourself on the back, 78,710. But we've got options like the pano roof, 83,042.
Yeah.
Lots of compromises. The Great Compromise is what this is.
The Great Compromise.
And on that note, if you want to see more from Holly, some behind the scenes stuff from her, go find her on Instagram and Facebook at Female Consumer. You can find all things GT Garage Talk at GT Garage Talk, Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, Threads, YouTube, you name it, at GT Garage Talk, or you can go to gtgaragetalk.com. Definitely go check out my off-roading video of this because we've referred to it a lot in this one. But until next time, gearheads, bye. Everybody ready?
I'm ready. Where's your hat? Daddy,
What?
that's so funny. Shaking your hair.
I need a haircut.